The morning light over London was soft, pale, and cool, just the kind of quiet dawn that belonged to the city. People rushed along the pavements with coffee cups in hand, taxis zipped through the narrow streets, and the cold wind carried the distant hum of a city already wide awake. David Beckham pushed the glass door of the cafe open, his mind lost somewhere between the upcoming charity appearance he was expected to attend and the dozens of messages buzzing non-stop on his phone. But all of it disappeared, completely and violently, when he heard a voice from across the room. A female voice. Soft, warm, unmistakable. Sometimes, I wish I could meet the man who took care of me when I was blind. If it wasn't for him, I don't know where I'd be today. Beckham froze. His entire body locked up mid-step. His hand tightened involuntarily around the phone he was holding. The world around him, the clattering dishes, the espresso machine hissing, the chatter of people ordering cappuccinos, everything faded into white noise. That voice belonged to a past he had never truly let go of. He turned his head slowly, almost painfully, like he was afraid the slightest movement would shatter something fragile inside his chest. And there she was, Emily. He hadn't seen her in 3 years, not since the days when she couldn't see him. Not since the days he spent taking care of her, sitting beside her, guiding her through darkness she never asked for. Not since the nights when she held onto his hand tightly because she couldn't hold on to anything else. Emily, who had never seen his face. Emily, who only knew him through his voice, his quiet reassurance, his soft encouragement. Emily, who vanished from his life the moment her family moved her out of London for surgery while Beckham was on a work trip in the US. He came back only to find her gone. No forwarding address. No way to contact her. No explanation. He had searched. God knows he had searched. And now she was right there. In a bright cafe. Sunlight touching her hair. Vision restored. Smiling. Happy. But what shattered him wasn't the fact that she was smiling. It was who she was smiling at. Seated across from her, hands intertwined with hers, was Aaron, Beckham's closest friend for years. The man he trusted like a brother. The man who had been by his side through personal highs and lows. The man who knew almost everything about Beckham's life. Almost. Not this. Beckham swallowed hard. His vision blurred for a moment, not because of tears but because shock flooded every nerve in his body. He tried to take a step back but his feet felt rooted to the floor. Aaron laughed at something Emily said, then leaned in slightly to brush a strand of hair behind her ear. And Beckham felt something inside him tear. He forced himself to look away but the universe had other plans. Aaron looked up at the exact wrong time. His face lit up. David, mate, get over here. The entire cafe turned as the football legend became suddenly, loudly announced to the whole room. Beckham cursed silently. He had no time to escape now. No way to hide the storm inside him. He walked toward their table, feeling every step like a punch in the gut. Aaron stood and wrapped him in a friendly hug, oblivious to Beckham's frozen expression. Man, I've missed you. Haven't seen you in ages. Beckham forced a smile, small, strained. Yeah, been busy. Emily stood as well, polite, gentle. Hi, David. Her hand reached out instinctively for a handshake. Beckham stared at it. The same hand he had held for hours during hospital visits. The same hand he had squeezed to calm her fears. The same hand that once clung to him because he was the only familiar thing in her dark world. He took it gently. Nice to meet you, he said. Her eyebrows lifted ever so slightly. A flicker of something, confusion, recognition, passed through her eyes. Your voice? She murmured, almost to herself. It sounds familiar. Beckham's pulse jumped. He tightened his throat, subtly altering his tone. A lot of people say that, he lied softly. Emily nodded politely, though her expression carried a faint, unsettled curiosity. Aaron sat back down and slung an arm around her shoulders proudly. David, this is Emily, my girlfriend. The one I told you about. Beckham's jaw clenched so tight he thought it might crack. Emily smiled shyly. Aaron continued, completely unaware of the emotional hurricane brewing inches away from him. She's incredible, mate. Strongest woman I know. She went through hell and back a few years ago. Lost her sight after a bad accident, but some guy kept visiting her while her family was struggling with everything. A real-life angel, she says. Emily lowered her gaze, a soft sadness touching her smile. I never got to thank him. He helped me through the darkest year of my life. Beckham stared at the table. Every memory hit him at once. Her fear, her trembling hands, her whispered questions about colors, light, the world she prayed to see again. Her laugh whenever he described sunsets or birds or the Thames at dawn. And her voice when she said, "Your voice makes everything less scary." Aaron kept talking, oblivious. "She hopes to meet him someday, you know. Says she would know his voice anywhere." Beckham closed his eyes tightly. He could practically hear fate laughing at him. Emily looked at Beckham again, her head tilted slightly the same way she used to do when trying to identify a sound. "Honestly, there's something about the way you speak." Beckham immediately cleared his throat and leaned back. I have to go. I'm late." Aaron frowned. "What? Already?" Beckham stood so quickly he nearly knocked over the chair. "Meeting. Can't miss it." Emily looked disappointed but didn't say anything more. Aaron gave him a friendly pat on the back. "Let's catch up soon." "Seriously?" Beckham nodded weakly. "Yeah, sure." He pushed through the cafe doors and stepped into the cold London air, sucking in a shaky breath. Everything came rushing back. The nights he sat beside Emily, describing the world she couldn't see. The hope in her voice. The pain in her questions. The trust she placed in him without ever seeing his face. And the day he returned from the US to discover her hospital room empty. She was gone. He searched for weeks, then months. Eventually, he accepted that she was part of a past he could never reclaim. Yet here she was, standing in the light, seeing the world again, and smiling at another man, his best friend. Beckham leaned against a brick wall outside the cafe, covering his face with his hand as a wave of emotion ripped through him. He whispered to himself, "You recognized me, didn't you?" But he knew what must happen now. She couldn't know it was him. Not anymore. Not when her happiness belonged somewhere else. That night, Beckham barely slept. He lay awake in the dim glow of the London skyline filtering through his curtains. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Emily's face. Every time he exhaled, he heard her voice telling Aaron she wanted to meet the man who guided her through blindness. He tossed and turned for hours. At 3:12 a.m. he sat up. He whispered into the silence, "You can't ruin their happiness." But the truth was harder than the logic. Beckham wasn't jealous. He wasn't possessive. He wasn't angry. He was heartbroken. Quietly, painfully, hopelessly. But even heartbroken, he knew what had to be done. He had to stay silent, even if it killed him a little each day. The next morning, Beckham dragged himself through a charity training session with barely any energy. His teammates noticed he wasn't himself. His passes were slower. His focus drifted. His eyes looked distant. During a water break, someone clapped a hand on his shoulder. Beckham turned. Smiling, bright, unaware of everything. "Man, you okay? You look awful." Beckham forced a laugh. "Didn't sleep much." Aaron nodded. "Emily asked about you. She said she felt like she knew you somehow." "Weird, huh?" Beckham froze, then forced a calm tone. "Yeah, weird." Aaron continued. "By the way, mate, Friday dinner at my place. Just us three. Emily wants to get to know you better. You coming?" A knife twisted inside Beckham's ribs. "I'll try." Aaron grinned. "Try? No chance. You're coming. That's final." Beckham nodded, though everything in him screamed no. Friday came too fast. Beckham considered canceling a dozen times. But he couldn't break Aaron's trust, not like that. So he showed up. Aaron opened the door with a wide smile. "David, get in here." Beckham stepped inside, feeling like a man walking willingly into a fire. The living room was warm and cozy. Candles flickered. Dinner was on the table. Soft music played. And then Emily appeared in the doorway. "Hi, David," she said gently. Her smile was polite, but her eyes hid a quiet storm. She kept watching him like she was trying to solve a puzzle that haunted her every night. They sat down to eat. Aaron talked endlessly, telling old stories Beckham barely remembered. Beckham forced laughs here and there, but his focus was solely on staying quiet. Staying unrecognizable. Staying in control. But Emily kept looking at him. Every time he spoke, she froze just a little, like she was listening deeper than the sound. Like she heard something behind the voice. Something from long ago. Halfway through dinner, she set her fork down. "David, I need to ask you something." Aaron stood abruptly. "Wait, I'll grab more drinks." He disappeared into the kitchen. Emily leaned closer, voice trembling. "Your voice?" she whispered. "It feels like it belongs to someone I once knew. Someone who mattered." Beckham swallowed hard. "You're imagining things," he said quietly. She shook her head. "No, I'm not." He avoided her gaze. She didn't relent. "David, have you ever held my hand before?" His breath caught in his chest. She continued, tears forming in her eyes. Because when you shook my hand in the cafe, something inside me remembered. David Beckham felt the world fall apart inside him. But he said nothing. He couldn't. Not without destroying everything. And at that exact moment, Aaron walked back in with drinks, joking loudly and breaking the tension. Beckham leaned back, forcing his heartbeat to slow. But it was useless. The truth, after 3 years, was knocking louder than ever. Emily wiped her tears discreetly and sat up straight. But Beckham knew. The silence he chose wouldn't last much longer. Night had already settled over London when David Beckham finally arrived back at his flat. The rain tapped lightly against the windows, a steady rhythm that matched the heaviness in his chest. He dropped his keys on the counter and collapsed into a chair, burying his face in his hands. Just hours earlier, Emily had looked at him with those searching eyes. The same eyes she once wished she could use to see the face of the man who held her hand through blindness. Now she had that sight, and somehow she still couldn't see the truth standing in front of her. But she felt it. Beckham knew that much. He knew the moment she tilted her head when he spoke. He knew it when she froze as he guided her to her seat. He knew it when she quietly asked, "Have you held my hand before?" And he also knew he couldn't let her find the answer. Because the truth didn't just belong to him. It belonged to Aaron too. And Aaron, who loved her with every beat of his heart, didn't deserve to be hurt by something that happened long before he met her. So Beckham chose the hardest path. Silence. Distance. Pain without confession. But silence wasn't saving him. Not tonight. Not as he stared at the ceiling, replaying every second of dinner. Emily watching him. Emily listening to him. Emily remembering him without remembering him. And Aaron laughing beside her, clueless and happy. The next morning, Beckham woke feeling like he hadn't slept at all. His throat was raw, his eyes were heavy, and his heart felt like a stone dragging him down. Still, he forced himself up. He needed to train. He needed distraction. He needed noise loud enough to drown out her voice echoing in his memory. But the universe refused to give him peace. At the training facility, Beckham tried to lose himself in drills, sprints, passing, shots on target, but nothing worked. His rhythm was off, timing late, reactions sluggish. Even the younger players noticed. Rough night, Bex. You look like you didn't sleep for a week. Everything okay, boss? He brushed them off with practiced smiles, but inside, the truth screamed louder than any stadium crowd. During a short break, while Beckham leaned over catching his breath, someone dropped down beside him on the bench. Holding 2 bottles of water, he tossed one to Beckham. "You good, mate? You don't look, alive." Beckham forced a grin. "Just tired." Aaron took a drink, then elbowed him playfully. "Emily asked about you again this morning." Beckham stiffened. "She did?" "Yeah. Said she felt something off last night. Said you seemed familiar." He laughed. "I told her that's just your celebrity aura messing with her." Beckham managed a weak chuckle. But Aaron wasn't done. "Actually, she's been talking about that guy again." Beckham looked over. "What guy?" Aaron smirked. "The mystery man, the one who stayed by her side back when she couldn't see." He leaned back on the bench. "She's convinced she'll meet him someday. Says he saved her." A knife twisted inside Beckham. Saved her. He remembered holding her trembling hands. Remembered describing the sunrise to her because she said it made her feel like she could still imagine beauty. Remembered the nights she cried, terrified she'd never see again. Remembered the way she whispered, "Your voice is the only thing that keeps me calm." Aaron nudged him again. "You should have seen how emotional she got last night thinking about him. She swears she'll know his voice instantly." Beckham's heart hammered violently. Yes, she would know. Because she already did. Aaron stood and stretched. "Anyway, dinner again soon, yeah? She wants you around more." Beckham nearly choked. Around more? He couldn't even survive one evening without his heart breaking open. But he nodded. Because saying no would only raise suspicion. That evening, Aaron sent another message. "Bro, Emily made dinner. You coming?" Beckham stared at the text for a long time. He typed, "I'm busy tonight." Then deleted it. Typed again. "Maybe next time." Deleted it again. Finally he wrote, "Yeah, I'll be there." And instantly regretted it. When Beckham arrived, Emily opened the door. Her hair was loosely tied, her sweater a soft ivory color. She looked peaceful, and yet there was a heaviness in her eyes he hadn't seen before. "Hi, David," she said softly, stepping aside to let him in. He nodded, avoiding her gaze, trying not to breathe in the familiar scent of chamomile she always wore during the hospital days. In the living room, Aaron was busy setting plates on the table. "Dinner's ready. Come in." Beckham sat. Emily sat across from him. And immediately, instinctively, her eyes locked onto his. There was no anger, no accusation, just quiet confusion, and something deeper, something aching. As Aaron talked about nonsense, sports, whether some funny thing at work, Emily stayed silent, watching Beckham closely. Halfway through dinner, she spoke. "David." Her voice was calm, steady, deliberate. Beckham froze. Aaron looked up mid-bite. "Yeah, Em?" Emily didn't look at Aaron. She kept her eyes locked on Beckham. "Can I ask you something?" Aaron gestured casually. "Yeah, sure, babe. What's on your mind?" Her gaze didn't move. Her voice lowered. "Why do you sound like him?" Aaron paused. "Like who?" Emily swallowed. "The man who helped me when I was blind." Aaron blinked, confused. Beckham felt the room shrinking, the air thinning. Emily continued. "For 3 years, I listened to the same voice comforting me, guiding me through hallways, telling me not to panic, holding my hand when I was scared." Her hands trembled slightly. "I don't know why, but when David talks, that voice comes back." Aaron laughed awkwardly. "Come on, Em, that's impossible. David wasn't even around. And he doesn't do hospital volunteering." Beckham looked away, jaw clenched. Emily leaned forward. "You didn't answer me, David." His throat tightened. Aaron looked between them, confused. "Answer what?" Emily whispered. "Why does your voice sound like the man who saved me?" The room fell unbearably silent. Aaron stared at Beckham, waiting. Beckham felt the truth rising in his chest like a tidal wave. He swallowed hard. Emily's eyes glistened, not with certainty but with fear of what the answer might be. He opened his mouth, but the only thing that came out was, "You're imagining it." Her face fell. Not angry, not offended, just quietly broken. She whispered, "No, I'm not." And Beckham felt his heart nearly rip open. Aaron, oblivious to the emotional earthquake occurring right in front of him, laughed and changed the subject. Dinner continued as if nothing had happened, but Beckham knew everything had changed. Emily knew something. She didn't have proof yet, but her heart remembered what her eyes had never seen. And Beckham realized something terrifying. Silence wasn't protecting her anymore. It was hurting her, and hurting himself. And soon, it might hurt Aaron too. As Beckham walked home that night under the dim London streetlights, one truth echoed louder than anything else. The storm he was trying to avoid was already coming. London's sky had turned a heavy gray, the kind that made the whole city feel colder than it really was. David Beckham stood in the long tunnel beneath Wembley Stadium, where the concrete walls echoed every footstep with a hollow, metallic ring. He had been supervising preparations for a charity event, checking lighting, reviewing plans, giving directions, but none of it lived in his mind. His thoughts were elsewhere. With her. Always with her now. Emily. Every second since the dinner at Aaron's place, her words had haunted him. "Why does your voice sound like him?" He couldn't escape them. He couldn't outrun them. He couldn't silence them. And worst of all, he couldn't deny them. Because she was right. She was always right. As he walked down the tunnel, lost in thought, he didn't even notice the sound at first. A soft gasp, followed by the thud of something hitting the ground. A box. Then a second gasp. Then a small cry of pain. Beckham instantly snapped back to reality. He ran forward. Just around the bend, he found Emily sitting on the floor, her ankle twisted beneath her, surrounded by scattered boxes of training equipment. One of the containers had tipped onto her foot, pinning it awkwardly. Her face was contorted in pain. "Emily." Beckham dropped to his knees. "What happened?" She winced. "I tripped, it hurts. I can't move my foot." He gently lifted the box away and touched her ankle with careful fingers. The moment he touched her, she stiffened. Her breath caught. Her eyes widened. Not from pain. From recognition. Beckham felt it too. It shot through him like a silent bolt of lightning. Something passed between them, a memory without a picture, a feeling without a name, a warmth that didn't belong to the present but refused to stay buried in the past. Emily's voice trembled. This touch. Beckham froze. He tried to control his breathing, tried to steady his hands, but his pulse was thundering. She swallowed hard. "I know this touch." Beckham looked away, forcing calmness. "You're just scared, Emily." With the shock. "Let me help you stand." He slid an arm behind her back and another beneath her arm, helping her up slowly. The moment she leaned onto him, that moment the side of her body pressed gently against his, she gasped again. The same memory returned to her in flashes she couldn't fully see but could feel. A hospital corridor, a trembling hand gripping his, a man whispering, "I'm here. Hold on to me." She stared at Beckham stunned. "Why do I feel like I've walked exactly like this before, with you?" He didn't answer. He couldn't. He steadied her, helping her shift weight onto her good leg. She placed her hand on his forearm for balance. And instantly, another wave of shock washed across her face. Tears began to form, trembling in her eyes. "David, do you know what this feels like to me?" Beckham closed his eyes. His heart squeezed painfully. He whispered, "Emily, please don't." But she continued, voice cracking. "It feels like you've guided me before, held me before, protected me before." Her eyes locked onto his with heartbreaking intensity. "It feels like you're him." Beckham looked away, jaw tight. He said nothing. He didn't have to. His silence was her answer. Her lips parted as if she were about to say something more, but suddenly footsteps echoed down the corridor. A familiar voice. "Emily?" He rushed forward, panic on his face. "Babe, what happened?" Beckham immediately dropped his arm from around her, stepping back. Aaron slid in between them protectively. "Are you okay? Did you fall? Who stacked these stupid boxes here?" Emily forced herself to smile through the pain. "I'm okay. David just helped me stand." Aaron exhaled in relief. "Man, thank you." He shot Beckham a grateful smile. "Seriously." But Beckham wasn't looking at Aaron. He was looking at Emily. And Emily, she wasn't looking at her boyfriend. She was looking at Beckham. Her eyes, though watery from pain, held something deeper now. Something raw. Something undeniable. A question. A truth. A memory begging to surface. Beckham's stomach twisted. Aaron lifted Emily into his arms to avoid her walking on the injured ankle. "We need to get you checked. Come on." Emily held onto Aaron, but her gaze never left Beckham. Not until the moment they turned the corner. And even then, he still felt her eyes on him. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. She sat on the edge of her bed, ankle-wrapped, the room dim beside her. She held her old journal, the one she used to write in during the year of blindness. She traced her fingers over the cover, then slowly opened it. Her handwriting covered every page, raw, vulnerable, full of fear and hope. She flipped until she found the lines she remembered. "He holds my hand gently but firmly. When I lose balance, he holds my waist to steady me. His voice is soft. He always whispers before he talks normally, like he's calming himself first. I don't know his face, but I know his presence like air." Emily closed the book, tears welling. Everything matched. Everything. Her heartbeat trembled. She whispered to herself, "It was him, it has to be him." Meanwhile, Beckham sat alone in his dark living room, staring at his own hands. Hands that once guided Emily when she couldn't see. Hands that held her through panic attacks. Hands that taught her how to find walls, doors, the edge of a bed, the feel of a window's cold glass. Hands she trusted long before she ever knew what he looked like. He whispered into the empty room. "Why did you have to come back into my life, like this?" He leaned back on the sofa, eyes closed. Because the truth was breaking him open slowly. He still cared for her. More than he ever admitted. More than he ever allowed himself to feel. But none of it mattered. She belonged to Aaron now. His closest friend. His brother in everything but blood. The man who would take a bullet for him without hesitation. David Beckham knew one thing with painful certainty. He would never betray him. Even if the truth was clawing at his heart. Even if Emily was beginning to remember. Even if he felt something he never said aloud. He couldn't choose himself. Not in this situation. Not over Aaron. So he decided on the only path left to him. Stop seeing Emily as much as possible. Stop letting her get close. Stop letting the past breathe. He grabbed his phone and typed a message to Aaron. "I'll be traveling a lot for work the next few weeks. Might not be around much." He hovered over the send button. But a second message arrived right then. From Aaron. "Emily wants to talk to you. She said it's important." Beckham exhaled shakily. Of course she did. Her memory wasn't letting go. The storm he feared was now at his doorstep. And it was stronger than ever. The following afternoon, Beckham reluctantly visited Aaron and Emily's flat. He had no choice. Aaron insisted, and Emily had specifically asked to see him. When Emily opened the door, she wasn't smiling politely like before. She was serious, determined, eyes sharp with questions she was done hiding. Once Aaron stepped out briefly to take a call in the hallway, Emily turned to Beckham. "David, we need to talk." Beckham tensed. "Emily? No excuses. I need the truth." He swallowed hard. She stepped closer. "I don't understand everything. I don't have all the pieces. My memories aren't perfect, but I know how someone made me feel. A breath, a tremble, then. And yesterday when you caught me in that tunnel, David, my heart remembered something my eyes never saw." Beckham's pulse thundered in his ears. She extended her hand, slowly, carefully, painfully familiar. "I want to try something," she whispered. "If I take your hand and close my eyes, will my heart know you?" Beckham stepped back immediately. "No, Emily, don't." Her brows furrowed, hurt flashing. "Why? What are you so afraid of?" His voice cracked. "Because this doesn't just involve you and me." She stared at him. He stared back. Silence stretched, heavy, suffocating, unspoken truth hanging like a weight between them. Emily whispered, "David, are you him?" Beckham opened his mouth. He couldn't say yes. He couldn't say no. And before either of them could speak again, Aaron opened the door cheerfully. "Got dinner? Let's eat." Emily stepped back quickly, wiping tears before Aaron noticed. Beckham forced a smile, acting as though nothing in the world was breaking. But when Aaron walked ahead into the kitchen, Emily turned her head, whispering one last thing under her breath. "I know it's you." And Beckham's heart collapsed. Because now there was no stopping what came next. The truth was about to break free. And someone, him, her, or Aaron, would be shattered by it. The sky over London was a deep midnight blue when David Beckham stood outside Aaron and Emily's building. He had been standing there for almost 10 minutes, staring up at the softly glowing windows. He could see the faint warm light of their living room from the street. He felt like a thief, a trespasser, someone who didn't belong anymore. But he had to be here. He had to end this, for her sake, for Aaron's sake, and for the sake of the past that refused to stay buried. With a trembling breath, he rang the bell. Footsteps, a soft click, then the door opened. Emily stood there, hair loose, eyes tired, face pale like she hadn't slept. But the moment she saw him, something flickered in her gaze. Not anger, not shock, something softer, something aching. "David," she whispered. He swallowed. "Can we talk?" She nodded slowly. "Aaron isn't home." He hesitated. That would make this harder, but it had to be done. She stepped aside, letting him in. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. A candle flickered faintly on the table. Emily walked to the center of the living room, turning to face him. Her hands trembled slightly. "You came because you know," she said quietly. "You know I'm remembering you." Beckham looked down at the floor. He felt like the floor itself might swallow him whole. Emily stepped closer. "David, I need the truth. I can't keep living with these half memories, with this feeling that I'm losing my mind." Her voice broke at the end. He finally met her eyes. "Emily, please don't make this harder." Tears filled her eyes instantly. "It's already hard, David. Everything about this is hard." She placed a hand on her chest. "My heart, it knows something. It recognizes something. And you're the only person who makes sense in all of this." He stepped back, shaking his head. "You're not thinking clearly." "I am thinking clearly," she cried, voice shaking. "I'm seeing clearly for the first time in years." A beat of silence. Then she whispered, "Hold out your hand." Beckham froze. "Emily, please." A whisper, a plea, a final attempt. Beckham felt the world closing in around him. He shook his head again. "I can't." "Why?" Her voice cracked painfully. "Because if I touch your hand, I'll remember everything." His silence was louder than any answer he could have given. Tears spilled down her cheeks. She covered her mouth with her hand, trying to hold in a sob. "David, you are him." He inhaled sharply. There it was. The truth. Out in the open. No more hiding. No more pretending. He blinked away burning tears. "Yes," he whispered, voice barely audible. "It was me." Emily gasped, letting out a shaky sob. She stepped toward him and he instinctively stepped back. Her face crumpled. Don't back away from me." He closed his eyes, fighting the urge to pull her into his arms. "Emily, please, if I come closer, I won't be able to let go." She wiped her tears with trembling fingers. "I looked for you," she said, voice breaking. "When I got my surgery, when I could see again. I begged my family to take me back to London. But you weren't there anymore. No one knew who you were." He swallowed. I came back for you, but you were gone. Her breath hitched. All this time, we were missing each other by inches. He nodded slowly. Yeah, we were. They stood there in crushing silence, two people bound by a past neither asked for, and a present neither could change. Emily stepped closer again, slower this time, like approaching a wounded animal. David, why didn't you tell me when we first met again? He looked away. Because you belong to Aaron. And he's my brother. Her tears fell again. Do I look happy to you? He didn't answer. She stepped even closer, her voice soft but sharp like glass. Do I look like someone who's fine? Someone who doesn't feel split in half every time you speak? His eyes burned. Emily, don't do this. Don't tear yourself apart. She shook her head, crying harder now. I'm already torn, David. You just don't want to admit you feel the same. He turned away, running a shaky hand through his hair. This was unbearable. He had rehearsed this moment thousands of times in his head. He always imagined telling her the truth would bring peace. He didn't expect it to hurt this much. Emily's voice softened to a whisper. I loved him, the man who helped me. The one whose voice I trusted more than sight itself. Beckham closed his eyes tightly. I know. She took a breath that shook her whole body. And I think a part of me never stopped loving him. His heart broke cleanly in two. He turned back to her, eyes shining with tears. Emily, don't say that. Why? Her voice trembled. Because it's true? He approached her now, finally, slowly, painfully. Their faces inches apart. Her breath caught. His voice was barely a whisper. Because if you say it, I won't be able to walk away. She reached up, hand trembling, touching his chest lightly. That single touch nearly brought him to his knees. And for a moment, one fragile, stolen moment, they simply stood there, breath to breath, heart to heart, soul to soul. Then Beckham gently wrapped his fingers around her wrist and lowered her hand. He stepped back. Emily's face collapsed. No, please, don't. Beckham's voice broke completely now. You love Aaron. She shook her head desperately. I don't know what I feel anymore. He stepped closer again, placing a soft kiss on her forehead, gentle, heartbreaking, final. Then I'll choose for you. Her breath froze. He cupped her face in both hands, tears slipping silently down his cheeks. Emily, listen to me. You have a life with him. A good man who would never hurt you. A future that's safe. Right. Loving. She sobbed openly now. He continued, voice cracking. Loving you doesn't give me the right to destroy that. Her hands clung weakly to his arms. Please? David, don't go. He pressed his forehead against hers, whispering through tears. I love you too much to stay. Then, with every ounce of strength he had left, he stepped away. Emily reached for him as if reaching for light itself, but he gently caught her hand, lowered it, and let it go. She collapsed onto the couch, crying silently into her hands. Beckham stood at the door, looking back at her one last time. His voice broke in the quiet room. Be happy, Emily, even if it isn't with me. And then, he walked out. Closing the door behind him felt like ripping out the last piece of his heart. A week later, Emily found an envelope at her door. No name, no stamps, just a piece of folded paper inside. It was Beckham's handwriting. Emily, thank you for letting me be part of your darkness, even if I could never be part of your light. I hope the world you see now is everything we used to dream of. I hope Aaron gives you every piece of the happiness. I would have died to give you myself. Fate is kind. Maybe one day I'll see you again, smiling, healed, and loved. Take care of the eyes that once searched for me in the dark. David. At the bottom, a single line. Your voice healed me. Emily clutched the letter to her chest and cried. But this time, she cried with clarity. Not confusion, not fear, just love. Pure, impossible, unspoken love. Scene closes. Beckham sits alone in an empty stadium, the sunset painting the seats gold. He leans forward, elbows on knees, lost in thought. Then, with a sad smile, he whispers to the silent air. Goodbye, Emily. Camera pulls back, but far back, until Beckham is just a small figure in a vast, empty field of seats. A man who chose love by choosing to walk away. Fade to black.